Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fore Dads Podcast. I'm Tease. I'm with Don Julio, and we had a fun episode last week with Patty O'Shea over at Upside Golf. And if you guys were able to listen to that, you guys probably really enjoyed it. Listen to all of our memories that we had with our masters. Just listen to him and how his entrepreneurship with golf industry has been over the last 20 plus years. If you haven't already, definitely check him out on Upside Golf. It might be upsidegolf.com for his website where he has, rangefinders and a lot of different golf products. Use Fore Dads at checkout, Fore Dads, all one word, for 20% off. So definitely want to check that out. If you guys haven't already, hit us up on TikTok. We've been blowing up over the last few days. Don Julio's been doing a great job at providing good content. Hopefully over the next day or so, I can add some content on there so it's not just Don Julio hitting bombs. If not, we also have Instagram and YouTube that you guys can check us out on. So definitely want to just dive in right now with the Masters. Don Julio, what are your takes from the Masters?
What was the first thing I said? Do
Fire
not
away.
count my boy Jon Rahm out. I had a feeling he was going to pull it. I do have to admit, though, it was a bit disappointing to see Koepka let the lead slip away the way that he did.
Right.
Pretty disappointing. I would have loved to have seen Brooks Koepka win because, as everyone's already heard, he was kind of one of the first guys to kind of come out and say, dude, I'm having buyer's remorse. It's great with all this money, but I miss the real competition, the traditional competition that I grew up with playing. But, much like what Harry Vardon said too, is like, they're not here to change. They're not here to grow the game. They're here to fill their pockets. If that's really what they wanted to do, they wanted just to stay on the PGA, which I can't disagree with them. We've had those conversations about how golf is one of those only sports that nothing's guaranteed. You work so hard, and Patty touched on this last week. Like, you work so hard to get from being an NCAA player, or even just being an amateur, like Sam Bennett. What a performance! And still,
my gosh,
he came in what? He came in top 20. I think he finished 8th, and yeah,
something like that. I'll look it up right now. But yeah, he did amazing.
He was going to get paid $300,000, and he couldn't take a single dollar of it. But
that's on his own, though, in the sense because he is a fifth-year senior, right? So he should have had the ability to
still NCAA
go pro.
If he would have had, but where he will collect money is off of his sponsors because those are NIL deals, right? So
now his NIL, exactly, yeah, right.
Off of those, than he would actually when being in the top 10 of the tournament. So,
of course.
I mean, I think he's no, he's not at this tournament this weekend, but yeah, he's that was a really, really good performance. Phil,
that was a fun first 2 days. I was pulling for him. I was pulling for Sam. I'm like, dude, how crazy would it be in the 21st century to have an amateur win a major? That's insane. Back in the 20s and 30s when it actually happened, and even before then, amateurs were more professionals. They weren't even amateurs. They just did it because, it's a gentleman's game. Let's not ruin it with money, and then once they found out how much they could make, they're like, screw it, let's become pros. But I mean, I know a lot of talk, like you mentioned just now, was Brooks Koepka and his little buyer's remorse, especially when he said, I think he was interviewed after the first 2 rounds, either first round or second round, and he was like, if I was in the shape that I am now and with my body feeling is good, I might not have, made that decision to go to live. And then you hear a lot of people like, wow, if he just would have stayed on the PGA Tour, then he would have been fine. But hindsight, you think about it, the amount of time that he had off from tournaments to actually build back this strength from his body, from his knees, from whatever the injuries was that he had, was because of live. And if he went the PGA Tour route and stayed there, he probably would not have had that much time to recover to get as fully prepared. So you can't have both. Beggars can't be choosers. So it's a tough situation.
I think Full Swing kind of went into the details of the luxurious life that him and Jen live, right? So, dude, in order for him to even really make any money, he's got to compete. I mean, if he's not showing up at tournaments, his sponsors aren't getting any money. They're not getting any exposure. Like, he kind of had to. And I mean, his reasoning is valid, but at the same time too, is like, if you would have just been patient, you give yourself a month, right? Good month of just rehabilitation, take care of yourself. Like, who knows where you would have been, you know?
Right.
But yeah.
If he was willing to bet on himself that way, for sure.
But again, I think just because of, it's a lot of money to say no to. I mean, it just shows like, it just shows how normal some of these guys are, even though they have millions and millions and millions of dollars being thrown at them every single day. You know, when you're offered a lump sum like that, like, I think anybody, it's gonna be
hard to say no.
So, I get it, but again, I got deep love for Brooks. Like, I love his competitive spirit, and it just shows. Like, dude, you kind of choked on the last day, but man, you were tearing it up those 3 days. Even the first few holes until, I don't know what happened. It just seemed like his caddy and him were playing a little bit too conservative. It didn't seem like it was his game.
Yeah, I felt like what he mentioned later was how slow the pace was of that Sunday round.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, man!
Like, the PGA's got to do something going on. Like, they were almost an entire hole and a half behind the group ahead of them. Like, Cantlay, you don't need to waggle, do your two-step, waggle, do your two-step. Pick it up, bro. You're a professional.
Dude, his putting stroke takes forever. Like, he is actually extreme. Like, we thought Kevin Na was bad, but now we got Cantlay, and it's just, I feel like it's getting slower and slower and slower. Well, like, I don't get it.
Someone posted a video on Instagram showing the time, like, from when he steps onto, he's looking at his shot, lines it up, does his 3 waggles with his, like, little footstep, waggle, footstep, waggle, footstep. Like, it literally almost took him a minute and 40 something seconds. No, I think it was longer than that. I forget what the time is, sorry, but it took him forever just to hit the ball. And
he's like one of those guys on, like, the first tee that you walk up to and you're like, oh my gosh, I was set up with this guy.
I think that,
and it's taking him forever.
For me until, like, the third hole, where you're like, dude, what are you doing? I was able to get out and go. I went and played 9 holes just to. I got a tournament this weekend, so I just went out and played. But I got paired up with a guy, flattest swing in the world, but he striped it. But he took like 5 swings, and it got to like the 8th hole where I'm like, dude, you already duffed one in the shit. Now you're dropping where your friend dropped. Like, stop with all the long swings and just put it on the green and get close and pick it up. It's like, come on, man. And I mean, I tried to, like, rush by, like, I was like, you're all the way fucking back there. I know you're not going to reach the green. Like, I'm chipping on, mark by ball. And then I went up and stepped up and putt. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go sit in my cart.
Dude, I remember, what was it, last September I played at Riverside, and there was this kid who had the most, like, golf perfect etiquette that I've ever seen. Like, playing, like, waiting for, like, if someone's in front of you, like, he hits first because he's behind you, and then if you're behind him, he waits before he hits his ball. And for me, unless I've never been in a tournament, but I'd assume, like, a tournament mode, it's a little bit different. But I'm all about ready golf. If you're ready and you're not going to hit anybody and you know what you're going to do, take your shot, because, like, we don't have to be there and watch every single shot. But this kid every time would wait until it was his turn to go and then shank it 40 yards. Wait for his time to go, take a couple practice swings, shank it 40 yards. And, like, for putts, he'd wait, and then he'd, like, putt it 4 or 5 feet past. And I'm just like, dude, please, just go. Ready golf. Just hit it. And then we'd be on the tee box. He'd get a call for work. Oh yeah, I'm at the golf course right now, And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? He was literally in the backswing. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? I
get a lot of these guys that, like, at the club that's here, like, in front of my house. I get a lot of guys that will, like, so one guy drives directly to his ball, knowing that his friend is 80 yards across the other side on the fairway. Drive in the same cart. So over to his ball, and then, like, the guy who's 80 yards over there just sits there in the cart, like, wow, great shot, bud, great shot. And then, like, all right, let's go over to my ball. And it's like, get your ass out and walk over there. Take your rangefinder, take the gloves. Yeah,
Drop your
dude.
friend over there with the
Like,
club. Go back to
oh,
your
that's
ball.
the
Let him walk
worst.
over. It's so
That's the worst.
simple, man. I mean, like, okay, so what is more frustrating to you? That type of slow play, or a golf course that is extremely crowded and you have to wait because of the person in front of you, not because and it's not slow play per se. It's just there's so many people on the course. So if you were to skip a
Yeah.
hole, you would still have another hole that has a bunch of people. You skip the next hole, like, and everybody's watching you. Everyone's frustrated. So when you take your shot, you're probably a little more anxious because you've been waiting for so long, wanting to hit this shot, don't want to mess it up. But which would you prefer as like the worst? That waiting, or waiting because somebody's just
Waiting because
bad?
someone's just bad. I mean, I understand. Like
Yeah.
we all have a purpose. Like when we're playing, I mean, some people go out there with
Mhm.
with the mindset that, hey, I'm just going to drink as much as I can, right? I'm going to have fun, right? And
Yeah.
those
Right.
are you get one of
Hmm.
two people. You get the guy that like wants to get everybody
Hmm.
else in the group involved. He's a funny guy or girl, you know. But then there's the
Hmm.
person that like is trying to work on something, like has an extra ball in his pocket, so
Yeah.
if he messes up one shot, player B's ready to go, right? Like you got that guy, and
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
get that.
Hmm.
Like I understand you want to get your money's worth. You probably don't get out as much. You're trying to
Yep.
get every swing in. You want to feel good, but it's like, dude, you got people who are playing and trying to move and keep up with pace. Like, don't sit there, shank a
Hmm.
shot into the water, drop on your exact spot, go through your whole swing routine again, and then somehow you put on the green. Like, put it down, take a look at your line, bang it. You know that
Right.
kind of gets me
Hmm.
because if it's just slow play, right? If it's just slow play, like I'll take my time. I'll take my time and getting to the tee box,
Hmm.
get to my time, kind of getting out of my car or
Yeah.
putting my bag down. Um, I just kind of get used to it
Yeah.
because, like, in tournaments, that's what it's going to be like on Sunday or Saturday and Sunday. That's
Yeah.
literally what I'm going to be sitting in. I know it's going to be. I'm happy it's going to be a nice day, but I know it's going to be like a 5.5 hour round.
Hmm.
It's crazy. So
Mm. Dang.
yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean, I get that. I would definitely pick the slow play with someone bad too. But I mean, going back to the Masters really quick, Phil Mickelson, the fourth round. The whole thing was, how are live players going to do in the fourth round? Are they
I
gonna
thought that was
are they
stupid.
gonna
I thought that was
fall under
stupid.
pressure? It was, of course. I think it's stupid too, but it's always going to be a talking point for any kind of media person. But Phil Mickelson, a 7 under to go to tie
Mm-hmm.
for second, like, at how old is he? Like 52, 53? Like,
Yeah,
that's insane. Like, with how bad he's looked. Like, not golf wise, but just body. He just has not really looked
he
all
looks.
there. Like,
Yeah,
just
he
looked
looks
more
the thinnest
fragile.
that I think he's ever looked.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of a bit concerning for most, but the dude was banging
Yeah.
it, man. I mean, he he
Man,
was. I
he was
mean,
getting
that's the
into it
one thing.
too.
He's strong. Like a lot of people still talk about, Gary Player's workout routine and how insanely strong he is and how he can like hold two clubs with like his fingers, like hold them out. He's just like, yeah, look at that. And he's balancing two clubs from the grip, and it's like, I'm sure Phil's got the same thing. One thing I do want to talk about going back, also to the Masters is like, did you see the video of Tiger where he was like kind of hobbling, walking back to his caddy?
Oh, I felt so bad, man. That just looks so.
Yeah,
I felt that. I was like,
yeah,
ugh. Like, it's the cold weather. It's a combination of the cold weather plus all the hills they got out there. But it was
mm-hmm.
like mid 40s with like 20-mile-an-hour winds. They had a few trees that fell down and
Yeah,
somehow didn't kill anybody or injure anybody. Like, the weather was, except for Sunday and I think Thursday and early morning Friday, I think Brooks was able to get around in before, they canceled
yeah,
either Friday or Saturday. Like, the weather was not optimal for somebody older like him and with all the surgeries that
yeah,
he's had on his legs. I mean, I feel like if he didn't have that car accident, that it wouldn't be as bad. But because of that and the whole broken leg situation that he had, like, that is just one at such an older age that's just not
yeah.
easy to overcome. And I'm glad he withdrew because there's nothing to prove.
Well,
There's
that's the
nothing
thing
to
is
prove
like, I
for
mean,
him.
people say that, people say he's got nothing to prove. The guy is the GOAT, hands down. I mean, even, the guy's
Hmm.
re-revolutionized golf the way that you and I know it. He's re-revolutionized the technology and
Hmm.
the way that we get to experience golf. Like, he has done
Oh yeah.
so much for the game, you know. But again, it's the competitor spirit, man. Like I mean,
Right. Right.
he said it himself. I wouldn't be in these tournaments if I didn't think I could win. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's got the ball
it's
speed and
all there.
everything, so like it's there. If he was in contention, I think it'd be a different story. Like, hey, like maybe try and tough it out. But he wasn't really in contention. He just barely made the cut because thanks to his buddy Justin Thomas bogeying the last 2 holes or whatever. Like so the fact that he wasn't in contention, that's what I mean. Like it was kind of pointless. There's nothing to prove. But if he was in contention, I guarantee you that on the off the top of his head, he wants to have one more major so he can hopefully break Phil Mickelson's record of the oldest person with a
Yeah,
major, because he holds everything over Phil
yeah,
except for that. And I think Phil has that over
yep,
everybody, right? He's the oldest person to win a major. So, I mean, and knowing Tiger, and if I were in Tiger's situation, that would probably be the only thing that would drive me, besides just wanting to play competitive golf, because what I've been doing for 20, 30 years, that would be my drive, is like, I'm going to focus on the majors, kind of like Ben Hogan did, where like after his car accident issue, like he literally just only played on,
hmm
I think, like the majors, focused everything around those. And I mean, go for it. I mean, he has all the money in the world. He's set for life. There's nothing else that he needs to
yeah,
accomplish monetarily, for his family, his kids' family, his grandkids'
yeah.
family. Like they're all set. And I mean, I would love to see him win one more major, of course, just to take that away. I mean, that rivalry's always been there, which has always been fun, at least for us growing up with.
Honestly,
But
I
that's
think
my two
that's probably
cents.
what he's going to end up doing. I think he's going to
Mm-hmm.
just put a lot of his focus into the majors and just trying to finalize that, trying to get those last three major wins to beat Jack, because what, Jack has 18, he has 15, right? Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
dude.
I think so. Let me
How
double
I don't
check.
understand. I really want to touch on this. Rory McIlroy is
Mm-hmm.
such a good player, such a good player. I don't understand how he shits the bed every single year at Augusta. This course is made for him. That little 3 yard draw, like the uphill, like the volume, the height he's got on the ball, it is made for him. How?
With exception to the last round last year, he has been
Yeah,
terrible in this tournament. And because of that last round last year, everyone thought he was going to have a chance, because, like, could he carry over that, that hot streak that he did to get, I think it was like
yeah.
second place last year. And oh
But
my
he had to
gosh, you are not
crawl
kidding. Like,
back last
what
year though.
is,
Like I think he
no, I
almost got
know.
cut last year. Yeah,
But then he just
yeah,
like took off after this. He moved on Saturday and Sunday with that, was it the eagle or the
yeah.
birdie that he pulled out from the
Him and
bunker?
Colin. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was dope. That was sick. But I mean, like, the amount of people that lost money by having him as an odds and didn't even make that cut.
hmm
Was he like +8? Like, I mean, that was insane. I don't get it. I mean, I felt that was the same thing that was going to happen to Rahm this week, because over the last few years he had struggled with this course. But especially after that first hole, what was it?
Yeah,
Double bogeyed the
yeah,
first hole, four putted. Did you see the Jason? Not the Jason, the
yeah.
JJ Watt tweet that he had? Um, how he was like, hey, he tweeted him, like, and he guess he jinxed, Jon Rahm on the first hole or
Yeah,
whatever, and he four putted.
yeah. I heard
Man,
about that. Yeah, or no, it wasn't it Zach Ertz? Oh, they
it was
both
Zach
went
Ertz
off.
and
Oh,
JJ Watt, I think.
I thought he got a text for
Yeah,
he got a
let me
text
let me
from
double
Zach like
check.
10 minutes before he was teeing off. That says that first hole's looking real easy or something like that, and he uh he four putts it. Yeah, yeah, but
You what? I think it was a group chat. I think it was a
oh,
group
that's
chat that all
cool.
three of them were in it.
That's pretty cool.
But
I
I
met both
mean,
JJ Watt and
that
Zach
was.
Ertz at the Wynn Golf Club. It was kind of the most embarrassing moment that I think I've ever had, because I literally looked at JJ and I was like, I know you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere. Yeah,
I
and
remember you
and
telling me
he was
this.
like, yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, "Come on, dude!" Right? He's like,
take
"Come
your
on,
best. He's
man."
like, take your best bet or take your best guess, man. Like, it's all good. It's all good. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I know you. I was like, you're like a Texas legend. I know you. And he's like, all right, my name's JJ Watt. And then all of a sudden it was like Zach Ertz walks in. I'm like, you're Zach Ertz. And he looks at me and he goes, really? And then his brother comes in. And I was like, yeah. And I was like,
Oh,
TJ. And he
TJ. Oh
goes, all right,
man.
that's it, man. He's like, that's it. He's like, that's cold blooded. And I was just like, I'm sorry. And then I'm walking to go get a coffee. There's this delicious like coffee spot inside of the Wynn. And I'm walking over there and all of a sudden I see Michelle Wee. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And then, they're like, oh, yeah, we're here for the NFL tournament. I was like, oh, I'm literally about to go out. They're like, oh, you must be the last tee time before we get out there. And I was like, oh, cool.
Wow.
But
hey, JJ, you want to play a round? Sorry, dude. I don't play with people that don't know who I am.
Nah, man. But let's bring it back to the Masters and talk about. Let's talk a little bit more about Sam. I mean, what were you thinking? Like when you saw him as an amateur, like what was your first initial thoughts?
So I have YouTube TV and I stream. I don't have like Comcast or whatever, Xfinity or whatever. There's no cable. It's just streaming. So on YouTube TV, you are allowed to stream. You have unlimited amount of streaming. You can stream for hours and hours and hours. Not stream, sorry. Recording. You can record anything. It'll keep it for like up to a year. So I have everything set. So every PGA tournament saves. Every NCAA, tournament, it saves. Every amateur tournament, it saves. So last year, I watched the amateur championship with him, and I forget who he was going up against, but it honestly looked like he was playing in like white Vans. Like they didn't have like any like like spikes or anything on the bottom of them. But this kid I think he won by like a stroke or two, or if it's match play, I think it's like what like 2-1 or whatever, like the scoring output was. But like he was killing it. He was solid. And I remembered him from there. And when I saw him do well, I was like, wow. I mean, that's impressive. For like the first and second rounds that he played, I think he was like -8 or -7, something insane. And so I was not surprised, as in like, I don't know who he is. Like, oh, I'd never heard of this guy. I didn't know he was going to the Masters, but I've heard of him before and I've seen him play. I know he had an unorthodox swing, as in like not a beautiful swing like Tiger Woods, not like a great swing like Rory or anything like that, but he definitely knew how to work it. And I always remembered his little goatee or his little chin hair on his chin. That was the main thing. And he played at Texas A&M, and ever since I saw him, I was pulling for him because I'm like, it'd be so sick for someone as an amateur to win now. But I really liked his confidence. There was a couple things that he said in his post-round interviews. I think it was like Monday and Tuesday, where first off, he stated that that another golf course was tougher than Augusta National. It's like, I played at this other course called Ridge something. It's like, it's much tougher than this course, and I was like, dang, okay. Bringing the heat on, day one or day two. Bold move, especially with the tournament not even over. And I guess there was another comment that he mentioned stating that, and I know Evan at Par Train picked this up, where he said like, I love and I welcome being nervous and I try to use that to my advantage. And I was like, that's pretty cool, because I mean, I can only imagine you're never going to get another opportunity to play the Masters and you've never played it before, at least the Augusta National course, unless you played at like University of Georgia or one of the Georgia schools. I think they let some of the colleges on. So like, to get that opportunity and know that the nerves are going to come and be able to overcome them, I thought was awesome. I really can't wait for him to make it to the PGA Tour, because he also said one thing where he's like, it's called golf. It's not called golf swing. So even though I don't have the prettiest swing, it's not all about your golf swing. It's like the golf ball doesn't know who's hitting the ball, right? So I mean, I was like,
yeah,
I love that.
I was just
I love that. What about you?
On that. I love how he said like, my swing is not as beautiful as some of these other amateurs or some of these pros, but he's like, it's my swing. It works, and that's exactly what it was. I mean, I don't think he missed a fairway or didn't miss them very often, and if he missed a green, he got up and down and just let his putter do its work. And I think, yeah,
bogey free first round.
That's
amazing.
all that it is. Just, hey, one shot at a time, minimize your mistakes, and execute when you have opportunities. And that's what he
Yep.
did beautifully. But yeah, I love his swagger. I love how, the head of confidence that he walks in. I mean, some people may call it arrogant, but he knows his game. And after he won the
Mm-hmm.
US amateur, um, he was on, he was on, I think, Grant Horvath's channel on YouTube, and him and his brother were
Okay.
playing against Grant and somebody else. I don't think it was Micah, but they were playing. But dude, they played some super tough course out in Texas. I think it was like the Ridge Country Club or something like that. And
It
yeah,
must have been the
but
one he's
that,
talking about then.
dude, he was lights out. He was throwing darts, and like Grant's trying to put all kinds of movement on the ball. He's trying to like overanalyze putts, and like he's just like, all right, well, here's my number. I'm just going to throw it up. I'm just going to throw it up there. And he was.
That's sick. I need to check those out. I need to check those
Yeah,
out. I need to check those out.
he's got a real good
I
game. Even
mean,
his brother's got a solid game too. His brother was playing with him, and I was just like, man, I was like,
okay.
these guys are what's up. I will say the one thing that honestly it kind of touched it not it kind of it touched my heart deeply was the tattoo on his arm where his dad left him a note saying like, don't wait for something to happen, like make it happen. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's such a powerful message. It's like if you want something, just get after it. Give it your best. Get after it. Go do what you love,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone's going to tell you no. Everyone's going to tell you, oh, that's not, maybe that's
Right.
not the best idea, but it's your life. It's your drive, your passion. And I think it's again, it's such a powerful message, because us as fathers, we want to enable our kids to go do what they want. Like Isis and I have this saying in our house, and we agree on this with our daughter, is we're never going to tell her to stop chasing her dreams. If she says like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
be a country
Mm-hmm.
star singer, like you go belt, you go belt it. You go sing the best of your ability. Yeah,
You go,
exactly.
girl. Mm-hmm.
If
Right.
she
Right.
says
Right.
she wants to be a
Mm-hmm.
cop, you go be the best damn cop you possibly can. She wants to be a janitor, you scrub like it's
Mm-hmm.
no one else's business. Like take pride.
Right.
Yeah,
If it makes
take
you
pride in the
happy.
things you
Yep.
do, and it goes a long way. You know, you and
It
I both
does.
work in corporate America, and we understand there's a corporate ladder, there's a corporate politics that you have to play, to get along. Fuck that, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
I work in a very political, environment. I just keep my
Mm-hmm.
mouth shut. I'm very, very
Yeah.
selective of people that I kind of like tell what's up, of how I feel, because it's like, dude,
Right.
I've been a
Right. Right.
top
Right. Right.
performer for the last 5 years, and a lot of people are always asking me like, what do you do? What do you do different? It's like there's nothing that changes. It's supply and demand. If there's a demand for it, you build off of that. How do you build off a demand?
Mm-hmm.
You reassure that this is exactly that this is what they're looking for. You walk them through the steps of like, this is how it's going to help, and ultimately you just continue to discuss that bottom line. What are you trying to achieve here? Where's your pain point? Revenue? Okay, we got you on this. Like I'm just, I again,
Yeah.
like just such a strong message in it, and us being Fore Dads Podcast, to see that a dad is no longer here, and his son is
Mm.
walking in his steps, and going after something that they both loved to do. Like such a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Heartbreaking story, but I mean, like, going back to what you were saying about his comments, and some people could take him arrogantly. I don't know. To me, I took them more as confident and not as douchey
I think
and
that's the
not as like
difference of
arrogant.
being a
And I mean,
competitor
like,
yourself. You and I both come from you and I both come from a
mm-hmm.
very high level of competition, even when we were kids, right? And you can
Right, right,
respect
right.
something like that. And people who don't know it,
Right, and you can tell. You can tell from
yeah.
like the delivery, from how things are said, that like, oh, dude, this guy's like totally being
Yeah.
like a douche about the whole thing. Like, I'm so much better. He was. It just seemed like he had that confidence, and it's so easy to twist those words,
Especially to the
especially if
media.
you write them down as
Yeah.
Exactly. No, the media feeds off of that. So they'll type it, and then just like they say, like, if you ever get in a fight with somebody, don't text in the fight, because someone will read it with different
Mm-hmm.
delivery than how you're supposed to be saying it or what you're planning on saying, and they can read it and read it wrong. And so like it, and that's what the media wants. They want that. They thrive off of that. But it was awesome. I was stoked to see him be as successful. It was a bummer he wasn't able to get paid, but I think he'll be
Yeah, I
fine
mean,
in
I
the long
think
run.
once he's done with school, hopefully the PGA does something where they're like, all right, well, here's that check that we had for you. Like, happy graduation, kid.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
right.
like I said, it's not, he can't get paid in like a professional, yeah, tournament.
Tournament.
But what's the difference between that and an NIL, a sponsorship, right? Like that's what like what is it? Deion Sanders was talking about. What's the difference? An NIL,
Mhm.
so
I mean, you could easily be like, okay, he made this much for the Masters, and instead of winning the money from the tournament, he can just say, "Oh, Augusta National is now one of my sponsors, and they made a payment. They paid me this much money."
oh
You can
shit,
easily pay
yeah,
him that way, and it
yep,
should be
yep.
100% legal, right? Because it's like, oh, they're a sponsor. I have them on my shirt, and they paid me this much for wearing it.
They gave
Or
me swag.
I mean, there's so
They
many
gave
ways
me
you can
swag,
go.
just like
Exactly,
the girl from Texas
exactly.
who signed with Barstool. They gave her a bunch of swag once the NIL
Hmm.
thing came through. Then they're like, hey, if you sell a couple things, get wear it around school. We'll have a fat check ready for you. Sure enough, that's exactly what it was.
Right. Augusta National gave me a $310,000
Yep,
gift card
yep,
to their shop.
exactly, exactly.
So
They gave me an Amex card with $300,000 with the points.
they gave me a membership
Yeah.
for a year.
Shit, actually, that's
Yeah,
true. Now
exactly.
that
Right, all the
he's
points.
played, I mean, he didn't win, but I
If
I
you
think
win, do you
so.
get a membership
I
there?
No,
No, I mean, well, I know who was it that
it
was
was
recently
Scotty
say was it
Scheffler. So
someone was
Scotty
one of
Scheffler.
the
There's a
winners.
story about Scotty Scheffler about last year when he won, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
the first time his dad told this to the news, the first time him and Scotty played a full 18 holes where it wasn't like coaching, it wasn't anything that had to do with Scotty competing. The first time they played a full 18 holes was at Augusta National after he won. Yeah,
Wow,
what a great first round with your son, huh? Yeah,
that's
isn't that pretty
crazy.
cool?
I mean, but I mean, that is really cool, but I'm just trying to think who said it. Someone recently said whether there's like Freddie Couples or one of the Masters winners said like not everyone is given the same treatment as like a Tiger Woods, where he could probably just contact Augusta National like, hey, I want to come in and play a couple rounds. Can you get me on? And it's like, yeah, come on in. It's Tiger Woods. But some other people have been trying to, and they don't get the same treatment where they're able to contact Augusta National and they're able to let them on as quickly as they want to. Obviously, Tiger Woods
Yeah, it's
is
Tiger.
Tiger Woods, but I mean, I feel like that would be really cool if they do offer like a membership to every winner because I mean it's in Augusta, Georgia, so not many people go there unless it's for the Masters. So how often are people really going to fly there yearly to go? It would just add to
Exclusivity of
the
the yeah, exclusivity.
exclusivity and then the mystery of the whole Augusta National. Like I was even looking up last week what the price is for the
It's
initiation
nothing.
fee on there. No one, well, no, they don't. They don't know, but they have a ballpark where it's either 40K to 200,000 is what the ballpark is, and apparently it's about 500
So I
bucks a
heard
month.
something
Besides
of the
that,
opposite. So I heard on
really,
YouTube where it was like things you didn't know about the Masters, where someone was saying that like the initiation is $100,000 flat, but your
mm.
dues are like $200 a month because they make all their money once the Masters comes.
Dude, they make $70 million
Yeah,
just from
no,
the
no, they make
shop,
no, no,
just
no.
from
So
the
they make
shop over the weekend.
so yeah, so they make
Was it more?
They make 80. Someone broke it down. They make 80 million dollars just on the shop alone, but they make what was the number? They make like 10 to 15 million on food, if not more.
Well, yeah, because they keep the prices the same. I mean, if they were to inflate those prices, unless they're like Costco, but on the golf course,
I
you only got
literally heard
quality
that
food
like
for
the
a
head
cheap price.
pro is paid just off of the concessions of the Masters. Yeah, that was
Dang.
another crazy fact that I heard about Augusta is that the head pro is paid just off of the concessions, like a percentage of the concessions
Wow.
alone for his yearly salary.
Dang. Dude, I heard this crazy story. Well, since we're talking stories of the Masters, I forget where I heard it from, but apparently someone was able to get on, whether it was like one of their vendors, where they have like a vendors tournament where they allow people to play, or one of the lucky people that won it, they got able to play at Augusta National. This guy gets a hole in one. I forget whether it's hole 12 or one of the other par threes, but he gets a hole in one. And somehow there was someone took like a photo on their phone or whatever,
Yeah.
of like that. No, it wasn't. It's not bad. It's not a bad story. So he takes a photo of their phone, or somehow they get a photo, and like Augusta National paid somebody to paint a photo, like paint that picture, like actually like paint it of like that moment that he got the hole in one, and they sent it to him, and like, okay, here's your epic hole in one. Congrats, it was awesome. Uh, it's $50,000, and the guy's like, on one hand, that's a ridiculous amount of money for just a painting. On the other hand, it's Augusta National. Like, I got a hole in one at like the most exclusive golf course in the world, like, and that everyone wants to play at. So the guy ended up sending it back, or doing whatever. I don't know if they send it or however it was sent. He just says, yes, I'll pay the $50K for that photo. So what they end up doing is they're like, wow, okay, well, you'll get the photo, but that's also your initiation fee to Augusta
Whoa.
National. You're in Augusta National because that he was willing to pay that much money for something that was so memorable to him. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? Like, how do you say no to that? Even if like you live in California, or so far away, it's like to say, yeah, I'm gonna go play a couple rounds at Augusta. Going on
Yeah.
vacation, gonna go to Augusta, hit up the South.
That's
Like,
super cool. That's super super cool. So I have a story that before I get into the story, I know we didn't talk about this particular person. I think this is someone that we need to talk about, which is Scotty Scheffler.
okay,
What did you think of his putting performance? I mean, even they got a video of him out on the practice green, I think on Friday, Thursday, and he was like upset. He was pissed. He's like, dude, I don't understand. Like, he looks at his coach and is like, I don't understand how these aren't going in. What am I doing wrong? And he missed so many putts within like 6 feet.
he had
Dude,
a lot of
so
opportunities
many.
to play a
I
lot
just
better.
I
I mean,
again, I know we were on a beautiful story. I just wanted to talk about that because it's like, dude, this is the reigning champ.
no, I get it. No, yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about the Masters. Yeah, no, so my thoughts on that. So it's a little weird. Like, I saw this video that someone had
Mm-hmm.
like one of those stimp meters, and it was like aiming right to a hole, and they were dropping the ball from the same exact spot every single time. And golf ball would, out of like 5 shots, 3 of them it went in, or like 2 of them it went in, one went left, one went a little right, and there was like no change at all. And so some people think that putting is obviously a skill, but there is some luck involved with your putting because the way that the grass goes, if the sun's a certain way, it raises towards the sun. Like, there's so many variables that go into it that even if you hit a perfect stroke, there's a chance that it
Yep.
might lip out. It might have too much. Like, there's so many things that can happen. So, I mean, I don't know. It just might have been an unlucky
Yeah.
first 2 days because Scotty Scheffler, like,
We get it. You're excited
Scotty
about
Cameron,
your
yeah,
putter, buddy. We
Scotty
get it.
Scheffler. I'm so stoked. But he, how many strokes did he? Let me look it up. How many strokes did he win by last year? He won by like he won by 3 strokes last year, but that's because like he quadruple bogeyed the last hole because like he literally said he was walking up to the green, wanted to soak it all in, and then he's like, you could tell on my next 3 missed putts that were within like 5 feet that he just kept on missing. That like that's what happens when you lose your focus. I was just dialed in all tournament and I
Yeah.
just wasn't focused because I was trying to soak it in. I had like a 5-6 shot lead, and fortunately he did because that would have been one of the craziest flips if Rory would have pulled that one off. But what do you think about the putting? About what happened?
Just it seemed it from my perspective when I was watching it. I was watching on the Masters app, where I think it's the best app to watch the Masters on. On some of them, it just looked like he was decelerating, like he was just trying to trying to get it there. And even some of the ones that he was firm on, he didn't seem confident on the roll. Like he was like, maybe
Gotcha.
I shouldn't play this break. Maybe I should just go right at it. And then there was that one where he threw his hands up. It was just like, and you could tell that was one of them where he looked at it and he's like, I should just go right at it. But he went on the right edge and it just skirted right across the right edge. Didn't even break once. And he just was like, how does that happen? Like, you see his mouth, like, how does that happen? I feel bad for the guy, but yeah, I think you have a good point there, which is that there has, it takes a bit of skill, but there's also just a bit of luck. I mean, I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of us who are paying attention and listening in on this podcast, that we have all missed putts within 3 feet. There's no doubt. I think we've all done it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and I'm watching right now. Scotty Scheffler 4-putted on the 18th hole last year. 4-putted. I think he double bogeyed on the last hole. And 3 of those were within 3-4 feet. Obviously, that's the Masters. There's so much pressure going on, super fast greens. But, it's always – I always find it interesting when pros miss those kind of putts.
It just normalizes the game.
That,
normalizes
100%. And I remember I was watching Sergio Garcia last year before he jumped over to live, and he killed it on round 1. He was down 8 or 9 under, so he was leading, and he was within 2 feet, maybe a foot and a half of putting in this. And I'm watching him, and I'm like, he is standing over that ball a little bit too much longer than I would expect him to feel comfortable. And you watch that putter stroke, and it literally looked like Will Zalatoris when he had his uncomfortable kind of and the ball just didn't even hit the hole. It was the most uncomfortable thing ever. And it's just it's just crazy. It's kind of to me, it's kind of putting can become one of those things where you say a word too many times and it just doesn't sound like you're saying it correctly. It's just wait, am I saying it right? It doesn't sound right, and but the more you think about it, the more it gets into your head and you make things a little bit more difficult than it is.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I like seeing that stuff. I like seeing it because, much like the par train is just, symbolize it for yourself, recognize the little wins, bring the positivity. We are not professionals, even though we strive to be. Speaking of Will Zalatoris and kind of accepting.
Dude, I was pissed. I was so pissed. Well, with Will Zalatoris, he withdrew within right after his warm up around 1, and I had him in 3 of my DraftKings.
I didn't.
That's why I'm mad, because other players were playing. Well, I mean, he has done pretty well in the Masters, especially when he first came out 2 years ago or whatever against second place. So he's got a good chance, but the fact that he had to withdraw, and he's had a lot of injuries over the last year or so. I think he had to withdraw from. He is. I mean, he's a twig. But I was seriously, dude, seriously. Yeah, I might not have had a crazy opportunity to win. It's golf. There's a lot of obstacles, a lot of people that might come out of nowhere that you don't expect. But still, there goes my chance before the tournament even starts. I don't even have a chance. So that really bummed me out, because I was it's not baseball where, the game starts at 1 and then you have until 12:55 before everything locks in. It's some people start at 6 in the morning because there's so many dang players at the Masters, and you're telling me that at 10 you're I'm just gonna not
home.
Play. Well, it would have been nice.
He's
right.
He's guys,
I'm gonna watch
Call
from the crowd.
Call of Duty Season 3 is about to drop.
Double XP weekend.
I don't know. I want to go play COD. I'm out.
Tiger. Well, the new EA Sports PGA Tour video game came out. I am playing the Masters virtually.
It sucks.
Have you played it?
Everyone's it's gonna be better than 2K. No,
you don't like it?
Dude, the graphics are better in 2K. The only thing that is about the game is they actually get Augusta's name in the game. They actually have the real courses names for those that are like extremely private. They're there for you to play. Other than that,
Right.
dude,
Yeah.
no way. 2K did such a good job in just the realistic atmosphere of the game. EA is just a bit.
Yeah.
It was just too overhyped.
I'm very bummed out. I'm very bummed out about the store. How
Exactly
there's
my
not really
point.
even a store. Just a few things that come up every day.
Exactly
I'm
my
like,
point. And
what
the
the heck,
prices
dude?
are so much higher.
But
like you have to buy like those whatever coins or whatever that's on there, and then you purchase it. Dude, those coins are like hell expensive. I mean, to get 1,200 of them is like what, 30 something bucks? No way. They don't even have a player's
well,
pass.
yeah, but then you play the challenges.
It's like 2K.
What's a player's pass?
Like
what would you
where
expect?
if you complete, like if you're doing the story mode, right? Like where you're building your pro, if you complete certain tournaments and you have the rivalries or whatever against somebody, like you earn extra
Okay,
tokens to like get sponsorships.
No, you do.
Well, I mean
You do.
on the
You do.
battle
I mean,
pass where
you
you
do.
unlock like stuff that's not available in the store. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, there are a few things. They have like sponsorship challenges and stuff like that, but it's definitely not on the 2K level. I definitely am underwhelmed on it, but I do enjoy it. It is a different thing, a different game. Graphics are a bit different. The gameplay honestly reminds me of PGA Tour
That's
14
exactly
Tiger
what
Woods.
I thought. The graphics, I feel like they try to
almost
put too much
identical.
into the graphics cards on this game that it's like it seems lagged. Like they really tried to bring it to life, and it's like you're putting way too much. I mean, half of these gaming computers or even just your standard television can't quite get that proper resolution, you know?
Yeah. My biggest gripe for sure is definitely the fact that you have to press A for your person to address the ball. I'm like, get him on the
Yeah.
freaking ball,
Yeah.
man. Come
What is
on.
this, Wii?
Like, cool.
Wii
Okay,
Golf,
cool.
where you have
It's
to
cool
hold
for the
down the
first few,
bottom
right?
and then you swing. Yeah. But
Oh
guys,
man.
what
But I mean,
an
yeah.
awesome episode. Again, make sure you get over to upsidegolf.com. Use the Fore Dads promo code to get yourself 20% off of everything that you're buying. Like they have rangefinders, they have the Thunderstick training tool, they have phone mounts, they have speakers, great speakers. They got some awesome swag as well too. Like get over there, get yourself something nice. Remember to use the Fore Dads promo code for 20% off. And also, we still have a lot of hats. We got a lot of cool stuff. Send us a DM, get you a hat. We'll send it out to you right away. And John, please announce to the crowd who won our giveaway.
So yeah, we had a decent show out for our giveaway. Thank you for everybody who entered it, who tagged people, who followed us. We had, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Walt Bernays or Walt Bernays from Pennsylvania. That's as much as I'll say. So congrats to him. I have contacted him. He has sent me over his address. I just need to send over the hat. And obviously when he gets it, I requested that he, prove that we sent it to him, tag us in a post. So obviously we build some legitimacy on our giveaways. So it's not just like, oh, these guys do giveaways all the time. Has anyone ever won? I've seen that with other Twitter accounts that I had followed before I found out that they just do it to build their brand. So we are definitely doing giveaways. Hopefully some more in the future. We got some stickers. We got some other little things, but hopefully he'll enjoy the hat. And you guys, if you guys have any questions, Julio's been sending me some photos of some hats on the courses. Tomorrow I'm going to the course and I will be also taking some photos so we can show those out to everybody so you guys know what options are available. We got 3 options. And yeah, I mean, had a great episode here. We're probably going to end it right about now. I mean, like I said earlier, hit us up on TikTok if you haven't. I think we're close to 150 or so followers. Julio's been doing a great job promoting what we got going on. Instagram as well as YouTube, Twitter, definitely trying to get on all those social media trains. And again, thank you guys for listening to us, supporting us, and
Yeah, guys.
That's
Thank
all
you.
I got.
Thank you. This was
Julio.
we're starting to see, like John mentioned, we're starting to see a huge wave of people coming in. Already gotten some people like Danny Dallas out of Hayward. Got the Bogey Boys out down in Fresno who are asking some of us to come out and play. Guys, we are more than I am specifically more than open to play. I know John has limited time to get out, but let us know. We'll try and figure out a day to get out there, and you know, excited to meet you guys. Again, we're just two dads having fun with this. We're not really expecting anything. I think this is as what's the word I'm looking for, as realistic as it gets. We're not just here just to try and build clout or just do anything. We're just two guys that have high respect for the game of golf, have a lot of love for sports, and you know, if there's anything that we can do, we just want to share our experiences as fathers and continue to guide that wisdom for those that are expecting, or learn from those that have already had. So this is a very open community, and we're happy to connect with all of you guys, and look forward to continue to grow the following in the future. So get on board. Fore Dads Podcast.
Yes, sir. Golf is for dads
and moms.
All right, guys. And moms and kids and everything. Of course.
All right, guys. Take care.
Talk to you guys soon.